What's going on, everybody? This is Trendkill Radio, a rock news show about all things rock except for when it's not. Brought to you by Hot Topic and discovering the internet before you should have. I'm your host, Sean Ryan.
And I am Coley Colgate. What's going on?
And before we get started, please be sure to hit subscribe, hit your notifications, hit that little bell you see right down there so you know when these shows are coming out, because sometimes we don't. Tonight, we are doing something a little bit different. It's not going to be news. We're doing something...
The top 5 albums that explain why we are the way that we are.
There we go.
And in some ways, it is kind of news. These folks don't know what, you know.
A bit of a vanity project.
Us. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, pay attention to me. Yeah, we're just going to trade off 5-5, 4-4, blah, blah, blah.
Fuck you if you don't like it.
Yeah, let's just get it started. Coley, why don't you do the honors? Coming in at number 5.
My number 5 pick for favorite albums of all time is Volume 1 by a little band called CKY.
What does CKY stand for?
Camp Kill Yourself. The name is actually was an idea based on a horror movie script that they wanted to write about a camp where you go to and you kill yourself. And it was supposed to be a horror-based stuff. And that record, Volume 1, it's not really spooky or dark, but it does have some heavy tones to it.
Rio Bravo.
Yeah, Rio Bravo's a real banger. But, of course, everyone knows the biggest hit off that record, which is 96 Quite Bitter Beings, which has probably the greatest guitar riff of all time. And that is my number 5 favorite album of all time because I can throw it on anytime and just vibe and, you know, want to go skateboarding and feel like I'm 12 or 13 all over again.
Okay, so my number 5 would be Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood. That album kind of changed my life for the better. I remember being sick when I was like 13 years old and watching a VH1 Behind the Music metal marathon, and I swear I've seen them all, and I saw Motley Crue that day like 5 times, and at the first I went, these guys are fucking lame, they suck, and then I was like, alright, they're kind of cool, and then it got a little bit better until I was just like listening to Dr. Feelgood for like the 100th time in the clip, and I was just like, man, that is freaking sweet, dude. And so I asked my brother for the CD, and CDs were a thing back then. I know. But that one, like that, it's so sonically just solid. Really, it is. I mean, and Dr. Feelgood has one of the best drum beats that it's just so heavy without being overtly heavy.
Do you think that that's the record that put you on your trajectory in music?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. And that's why we do this. Now I understand.
Yes.
All right.
Coming in at number 4.
Nice.
So my number 4 favorite record is going to be Sticks and Stones by New Found Glory. If you want to talk about a perfect pop
One of
punk
you
album,
people ever heard of Closing the Dot?
that is Panic at the Disco, my friend, and I will knock you on your ass if you ever do that again. Anyways, when you think of a perfect pop-punk album, nothing comes as close to perfection as Sticks and Stones from New Found Glory, in my opinion. Pop-punk. I don't know where your head goes.
Blink-182, Enema of the State.
No.
Perfect album.
No.
Perfect pop-punk album.
Okay, yeah, it's great, but...
It is. New Found Glory wouldn't be around if it weren't for Blink-182.
Okay, yeah, that's completely valid and totally fair and absolutely 100% correct. I'm just saying they did it right on that record.
Okay.
For me,
Fair.
my top 5,
I'm not dogging you. I'm not dogging you.
I will knock the brakes off your ass. Panic at the Disco. You've ruined me. So yeah, Sticks and Stones, New Found Glory.
Jared.
My friend's over you. Okay?
Yeah. What's his name? Jared? The lead singer. I'm Jordan. I hired Jordan to actually do a happy birthday for Candy during 2020 because everything usually, we would go see a concert or something like
Cameo,
that.
That's right. I remember
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah,
he's
and
super
he
nice.
actually gave like a good 2 minutes of his life for that.
Yeah,
Some people were just like,
Yeah, no, he's super solid dude.
yeah, no, very nice guy.
The whole band is like that. They're just a wonderful group of dudes. Sans. Well,
yeah,
we
the
did
one
a
that
story
likes kids.
That was. So yeah, like I said, Panic at the Disco. I love them.
All right, my top 4.
Yeah.
Atreyu, Lead Sails, Paper Anchor. Freaking, I don't know. This one got me into the music that I'm into currently today. I've gone through many different waves throughout my life. of hard rock and speed metal and electronic stuff. Like I got into like Deadmau5 and DJing and all that kind of stuff. This one kind of like I was looking for something new, and I was just so tired of constantly listening to the same old albums. And I was looking for something fresh, and I had just gotten out of the whole DJ thing, and I was so sick of the scene, and it's just those people, they make me sick. Mm-hmm. The rave scene is just atrocious. You don't even want to be around those people. You'll catch hepatitis. Not speaking from experience or anything. But yeah, that album, that's probably their most solid album.
That's like peak metalcore era too, right?
They said they invented metalcore.
I've read that, I've heard that places. I don't know how true it is. But
I don't know.
I think they definitely were like a huge part of the sound and what a lot of younger bands tried to imitate for a few years after that record. So maybe they did.
But like Becoming the Bull, I mean, how heavy can you get, and how catchy can that be? Similar to Motley Crue, I mean, just like a lot of these things, just so heavy, yet so catchy. Like so accessible to the ears that really just kind of changed me, and it, moved me on to listening to more acts of the same, Bless the Fall, Falling in Reverse, your favorite. Very solid album. My cousin went to school with the drummer, now singer, and I cannot fucking remember his name right off the top of my head right now. We went and saw him at the Agora, playing off their second album in an afternoon on a Saturday in front of like 4 people.
Hell yeah. That was the golden years.
Coming in at number 3.
Oh, good.
So my number
for
3,
you.
no big surprise here. Of course, this band's going to be on this list. Him, Razorblade Romance, arguably their greatest record, arguably one of the greatest modern metal bands or albums, in my personal opinion. And they've kind of reinvented their version of metal, calling it love metal, and this is like the peak sort of prime example of what that genre could sound like. And they did go off to influence a lot of other acts with this album in particular, but it is far and away my favorite album by them, far and away one of my favorite albums of all time. I listen to it regularly, now. I was listening to it on the way here, as a matter of fact. Right Here in My Arms is, I believe it's the 4th track on that record. It is my favorite song by any band of all time. I don't really have a lot of words to explain how much I love this record. It's just super important to me, and it just rips. It fucking rips. And a lot of people like to say, no, Him sucks. Well, guess what? They suck. Or you suck if you feel that way.
I was just in it for Billy Vallo's cock muscles that he shows off on the front, those Brad Pitt.
It's like the V. I don't want to. Nope. Come on. Kids show. Kids show.
What? I thought wasn't there a song called like Sigma something or whatever?
Yeah, Sigma Diaboli, but it's only on a couple different versions of the album.
Because I'm looking at I was trying to remember the damn name, and I'm looking at the freaking album right now, and I don't see it on there. That's the best song off that, in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's a couple different versions of this album as well. That is actually on the European version, but it is on a re-release or a reissue of the American version. It's just not the one that's on streaming. But that's a great fucking song.
Tis. All right, and for my number 3, we have The Prodigy, Invaders Must Die. That album, another life-changing kind of moment for me right there, where I was just, I was pretty burned out on being in a band, and I discovered kind of electronic music and stuff like that, but I wanted to listen to like a lot heavier stuff than trance and shit like that. Prodigy was a nice way to go from rock into electronic, because it was heavy, and if you've listened to Fat of the Land, I mean, that album did huge everywhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that was their peak in America. But every one of their albums has gone number 1 as soon as they go out, and Invaders Must Die is no different.
I'm super far removed from that entire scene, I think, but I'm aware of that album and that band, so...
Yeah. Are you talking about Fat of the Land or Invaders Must Die?
Invaders Must Die.
Yeah. Take Me to the Hospital is just my favorite. Keith Flint was like such a cool fucking dude, and with his skullet and just the raccoon makeup, and he just looked like such an angry little Brit.
Yeah.
And just like he looked like he could tear your face off like a Wolverine or something like that. Every time you saw him in a video, he's just fucking nuts. And just the energy.
He would.
All right, coming in at number 2.
My number 2, I could talk about this record for weeks at a time.
No! God, please, no! No!
It is a very special record to me. However, I'm not allowed to like it anymore because the singer has been canceled. But I'm going to say it
Kid
anyway.
Rock? Devil
No.
Without a Cause?
Worse kind of canceled than that. Brand new Deja Entendu.
Oh, ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding,
Great
ding,
record,
ding,
perfect
ding,
perfect
ding.
sound for that era. It defines what I consider to be, real, post emo. It was right on the cuff of what turned into like post hardcore metalcore. It had all the elements of everything I love, but just slowed down a little bit and played just right on top of, or I should say, underneath of some of the best written lyrics I've ever heard. And there's some songs on there that still bum me out in the best way. So it is just up there. It is
When you need
my
a good
number.
cry.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And I still love Brand New, but it's hard now. I mean,
I thought he was canceled a long time ago, and then you argued with me about how it was refuted.
Was refuted, but people don't know that. I have the album cover tattooed on my arm, so it's like it's one of those things. I can't be like, yo, I hate him. No, I'm not paying to cover that up. I gotta own it. I gotta own it. Everything was refuted though. It just, it is what it is. People don't know that, but maybe now you're learning now. Do some research, fucks.
Very unique time signatures on that album. I think that bass player is criminally underrated. I listened to that album like when we were going over what our top fives were and stuff. I had to listen to a lot of the stuff that you had listed because I wasn't aware of too much of it.
Never be cool, I guess.
It's just them's the breaks, I guess. Childhood was hard. So coming in at number 2 for me, we have Stone Temple Pilots' Purple, their second album. Brilliant freaking masterpiece. This is what the benefit of drugs can be, I guess. Like, don't do drugs, kids, unless you want to make a platinum album. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's true. They did so much shit, and you could tell. And I mean, it's such a great album. And forget like Interstate Love Song and stuff like that. But I mean, like Loungefly and Silver Gun Superman. There's so many iconic songs on there that a Big Empty, which was never really like a single, but I mean, you would know it if you watched The Crow. Yeah. If you were a fan of that time.
I just feel like if there were a soundtrack to Too Much Cocaine in a Dark Room, it's that album.
Yeah, I always thought you could probably do any drug to that album and enjoy your time.
Oh yeah. I agree. It's a fun one. It's a fucky fun one, but it's a fun one.
But I mean, it really shows how talented the DeLeo brothers are, and that they don't have to have just constant chords for them to have rhythm. Right. They're just that talented that when one would do something a little tricky, the other one would fill in the spot and just fucking nail it, and they succeeded as a 4-piece band. Coming in your final number 1.
So my number 1. My number 1 does not warrant any of that. My number 1.
This is the heaviest album he's about to talk about right now.
It is so fucking in your fucking face.
Sick.
It'll fucking rip your face off, eat it, shit it out, and then eat it again.
Rip your dick off.
It is the self-titled album by Tracy Chapman. Featuring such heavy metal hits as Fast Car and, I don't know, Talking About a Revolution. Seriously, it is Tracy Chapman's self-titled album. It has been my favorite album since I was, 2. It is very, very special record to me. I can put it on any time, listen to it. It's so beautiful. It's so well written. I mean, it won how many fucking Grammy Awards? I don't even know. Got her fucking
another album cover.
So my 1 and my 2 right here, brother. You come in the show. That's my number 1. I don't really know what to say about it because
this has always thrown me off, and it throws everybody off. No one that knows you would ever think that this would be your number 1 album.
Right.
And I want to know why. What childhood trauma is like fucking linked to this? because it holds a special place in your heart.
Yeah.
For it to be so off the wall, and for you to get a tattoo of her on your arm like that, there's has to be something going on. Tell the world.
All right.
Into that camera and that camera and that camera. Tell the world what you got going on, Coley.
So
So Sean,
when
Hot
I
Ones,
yeah.
everybody?
Oh yeah. We should do a Hot Ones episode one day. Anyway, no,
watch me
seriously.
shit my pants on camera. We'll do Hot Ones.
Yeah, that could be another show too. People will pay for that. No, this is my favorite album because when I was a very, very young child, the record was brand new. It came out I was about 1 year old when it came out, and my mom loved it. She was big on Tracy because they were friends in school because Tracy's from Cleveland.
Really?
Yes. And they went to middle school and a little bit of high school together, and my mom was like, took a great deal of pride in her, and she just bought her music and, supported her as best she could and everything like that. And she did, Tracy didn't need my mom's help. She was off, playing World 8 or whatever, but yeah, my mom just played it a lot. And some of the best memories I have being a young child in a really shitty household was listening to that record. And then as I got a little bit older and started to actually understand what certain songs were talking about, I deeply connected to them because I related to the lyricism in them, such as Fast Car, about wanting to get out of a shitty situation and just spread your wings and fly and be the best you can be and get out of, whatever dirt hole you're in, get in your fast car and drive away, because that's all I ever wanted to do. And the second I was able to do that, I did that, and I still hold that whole song and that whole album, it's attached to my heart. It's not going anywhere.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's very nice, man.
Thank you.
I'm not even gonna joke about that. All right, and for my number one, of course, speaking of tattoos, Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. Oh, speaking of canceled.
Oh yeah, I forgot you had that.
I'm so racist.
Don't post that because I'm going to steal that clip and just share it everywhere. Just you saying, I'm so racist.
Yes, Appetite for Destruction, 1987. This thing came out right around when I was born. This album, I can just remember, a lot of us, we do have fond memories of MTV when they did play, videos. For a lot of us, that was cutting edge. And although I was a kid, something really just attracted to me to that. I just thought, wow, what badasses. And I just loved Axl's voice, and Slash just looked like such a live-action cartoon. And, this is before I knew anything about music and stuff. I just knew that, I just really liked it. This is before even Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood. Just something just drew me to that scene, that wanting to be a part of that. And I fucking did it, too, with Psyche R. We were called the Guns N' Roses of Cleveland. That album, it's the perfect album for me. You can listen to every single song on there, and you could... I would say probably at the time you could probably put every one of those songs out as a single and still do well. Is anything gonna live up to Sweet Child of Mine? You're So Crazy. I doubt it, but it could have been a single, and they kind of proved that with Use Your Illusions 1 and 2, where they just put out one after the other. It wasn't just November Rain and Don't Cry. That really, really got me into hard rock and made me want to be a musician and a singer. And I did it, and that I have all the thanks to give to Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses for that.
That makes more sense than I think for a lot of people that know you. Or that don't know you, that just see you and see what you're into, or might see you, walk by you when you're out on the town. Look at this cat. It all makes sense. It all makes sense.
Yeah, so now you've peered into our souls just a little bit there, and we've given you a little bit of just
Insight?
a little sneak. Yeah, there you go. That's a good word. Insight. Yeah. Into why we are the way that we are because of the music that we listen to.
We also want to know your top 5 favorite albums, so put those in the comments and let us know what those are, because we're curious. I love listening to music, so I'll check out some of them. Not all of it.
I want to find the biggest G.G. Allen fan. Let me know
Chad
that he threw poop at you.
It's Chad I. Ginsberg of CKY. I already know that.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of CKY, yeah, Felicia Rose.
Darren's wife,
Yeah.
She's also the star of Sleepaway Camp, which is probably my favorite horror film.
Wait, don't spoil. If you've never seen Sleepaway Camp, watch it.
Check it out.
Wait for that ending. It It's bigger than The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, it's a huge twist. Huge, throbbing twist.
Honorable mentions. Go
Honorable
ahead.
mentions. I have one honorable mention that could also double as my number one, but it's a unique situation, and I think when I say it, you'll get it, and you may even agree, ever so slightly. Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory.
Huh.
That album defined who I became as a teenager and currently today who I became as a man. That was the first record that I ever bought that I said, holy fuck, every song on this is incredible, and I want to do this, and I want to make music, and I want to start a band, and I want to rap, and I want to fucking dye my hair blue and green and get spikes and wear camo pants and maybe move to California and I don't know, maybe like make an Asian friend who has turntables. And I did all those things except make an Asian friend who has turntables. So if you're out there, my DMs are open.
This has been this has been a way longer episode. We'll see how many of you actually get through it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure once again to subscribe, hit your notifications, hit that little bell, and be sure to check us out on Instagram at TrendKillRadio216, just like you're looking at right here. That is all that we have for tonight. Thank you guys so much. I'm Sean Ryan.
And I'm Coley Colgate.
And this has been Trend Kill Radio. Your mom gives my nipples butterfly kisses.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Panic at the Disco again.
Brendan Urine.
Brendan Urine.